roles. Okay. Now, in case if it is indirect procurement, where you don't have major financials, then probably or HR, right? Then the SCM team will handle most of the stuff, but the structure will be done by SCM team still. Okay. Now, coming back to your enterprise, right? So I said there are three main fundamental structures. Okay, there are three main fundamental structures that actually defines your enterprise or organization. The first one is legal access. Okay, then I'll put like this. Legal access. Then business access. Functional access. Again, this is more from the theory, but in general, when you actually go to the system, it's quite different. Okay. Now, there are three main fundamental structures for any enterprise. Legal access, business access, and functional access. Legal access. Now, basically, illegal access is nothing but where is this company established? When is this company established? Okay, which is nothing but legal entities. Okay, if you talk about legal access, which is nothing but when, where established. Okay, this is called as legal structures. Legal structures, which is nothing but it is legal entities. Okay, I'll move to talk about detail. Legal entity. When and where established. Okay, this is called as legal structure, which is nothing but in cloud, this is defined as legal entities. Okay. Now then you have got something called as business access. Okay. What is your business? Or what is company business? What do they do? How do they operate? Got it? This is typically created as business units in Oracle. Clear?
Yeah, Pramod.
This is called as business structures. Okay. The first one is legal structure. Second one is business structure. Legal structure is nothing but when and where established. The company, when it is established, where it is established, in how many companies there, in how many locations they are operating. Okay. Or established, basically. Okay. And business access is nothing but what do they do? Okay, what are their businesses? What are their departments? Everything will be done. Everything, are documented. This is something called as business units in Oracle. Okay, so now this can be classified as divisions or business units around. Clear? The third one is functions, which means departments. What are the roles? Okay. Nature. There is a department or person. Okay. This is called as functional structure. Typically, this is implemented using departments. Clear? So if you take any company or any enterprise in Oracle Cloud, that will be defined based on three different structures: legal access, business unit access, and functional access. Legal structures are defined by legal entities. Business structures are implemented by divisions or business units, and functional structures are typically created as departments. Clear? Okay. Now this is how the enterprises are defined in cloud. Okay. Now if you take a real-time scenario, okay, so let's take one example. Let's say G. Can one of you go on mute? There's a lot of background noise. Okay, fine. Thanks. Okay. Now, if you take General Electricals, right? Now, G is a company. It is, you can say this is a company or a firm or an organization. Okay, General Electricals. This is a company, firm, or an organization. Okay, but General Electricals, or you can also take Tata for that. Tata has got multiple Tata Group. Okay, Tata is a company. Okay, so now this company has got multiple things in their businesses. One is TCS, Tata Steel, Tata Motors. Okay, Tata is a group. Under that, you've got multiple companies, or they have line of businesses. You can say this is called as line of business. Line of businesses, which means this company operates in different products. They are into business which cater different products, different services to the Indian market or overseas market. Okay, so they have TCS. TCS is nothing but they're into consulting services. It's a software industry. Tata Steel, they're actually into steel industry. Then motors. This is an automobile industry. I'm just giving only three examples. Probably or Tata has multiple businesses. Okay, if you just take these three, right? What does this mean? This is a company. This company is operating in different products and services to get to the market. Okay, these are called as line of businesses. This is called a line of business, and in Oracle terminology, this is created as division. This is called as divisions. Okay. Now that this depends upon the companies to companies. Okay, how they want to implement this. Okay, you can create division to represent different product lines or line of businesses. Okay, this can be based on the geographical region or how they're actually operating in the market. But some companies, let's say for example, some companies, right? They're into retail store and they sell footwear. They also sell, let's say, garments. Okay, they also sell, which means garments is one of the fashions, and then they also have, let's say, for example, watches. Let's assume accessories. Okay, if they're actually maintaining everything in one roof, then it's just one company, and they're going to track everything based on this. But in case if they just want to make sure that each and everything they want to segregate the line of business, right, and they want to maintain separately, then they classify this as division. That depends upon how the company wants to do the accounting or how they want to maintain or track their business based on the line of businesses. Okay. Okay, so line of this is a line of business, and in Oracle this is created as divisions. This is not a mandatory step. It depends upon the implementation project how they really want to maintain this. First one is your enterprise structure. Second one is line of business, which is nothing but divisions. Clear? Any questions?
No problem.
Great. Now the third one is called as ledgers. Third one is called as ledger. What is a ledger? This represents a financial reporting entity. Okay, if you see any company, right? Let's take a real-time scenario. Okay, so in case if someone is maintaining a shop, it can be a jewelry shop or probably any store, right? What they do, they just make sure that they have a book. In that book, they maintain how much they receive, how much they have sold, how much they have the stock, everything they maintain in that book. Okay. Let's say, for example, in a company, okay, they have departments. Okay. They have, let's say, for HR department, IT department. I'm just talking about a big company, IT department. And let's say, for example, admin department. Admin department. Let's say, for example, sales department. Okay. Now each department has got a budget. Let's assume. Okay, I will give you a real time scenario. Each company, you have a company, that company has got multiple departments. Okay, now each department has got budget. Let's say, for example, this has got 1 lakh. This has got 2 lakhs. 2 lakh budget. Okay. Let's say, for example, there is a new person who joined in the company. Okay, let's say, for example, Manohar joined in sales team. The sales manager he joined. Now Manohar needs laptop. Okay, Manohar needs a laptop. So let's say, for example, company spent 50,000 rupees on a laptop. Okay. Now in the books, what they'll write as expense. It can be, operational expense, sales team, Manohar, or I'll put like this: sales team, IT products, 50,000 rupees. In the bracket, probably they'll write as this is just some sample, you know, data that I'm just giving you. Okay, expense type, department, okay, products, or the category. This is called as amount. This is name, or you can say, yeah, we'll put as name. Okay. Now, if you see here, right, in companies' books, they'll write like this. Okay. Expense type, sales team, IT products, 50,000 rupees to Manav. Now, let's assume there is a company outing. Company outing. So every 3 months, quarterly, they want to go out. Okay, as part of their company policy. Okay. Now they have company. So quarterly meet. Okay, this is HR department. This is called as probably employee engagement. Probably they want to spend here 1 lakh. Okay, this is company. What are these? This is something which we are writing in the book, saying that what are the transactions, or probably you want to record what is that happen in the operation side. Okay, if you see here, right, one is a sales side. What do you call expenses? Second one is your operation expenses. When the company owners look at the books, they'll understand that what we spend and how we receive it. Let's say, for example, there will be one more line. Okay, receive cash from ABC company. Okay, category probably is electronics. So let's say, for example, 3 lakhs. Company ABC company. Now this is, let's say, I'll put like this is negative, negative. This is positive. Got it? Now in your book, when accounts write, they'll write like this. I'm just giving an example. Okay, in the old schools, how they used to better. Now this looks good, right? In terms of writing on a piece of paper, but in companies, what they do in real time. If your company is big and they want to maintain some software, in that software they want to, track everything. What is their incoming? What is their outgoing? How much they want to do? And let's say in case if your company is operating in multiple locations, probably in India or probably in Middle East, okay, and probably it is in Europe. How they actually track it? And your company has got multiple departments, and you've got different probably people, okay, and who are operating in different regions. Okay, now to track everything, right, they need some sort of functionality that helps you to track and also check the reporting structure, which means rather than checking manually, they want to see something, a report. That report will give them everything. If they have to run based on the region, if they want to run based on the category or line of business or problem account, system should display everything and display the report. This is something called as ledgers in real world. In real world, it is called as ledger. What that ledger will contain is, it contains chart of accounts. It contains currency information. It contains accounting calendar. It contains chart of accounts, currency, and calendar. Okay. Now, chart of accounts is nothing but how you want to have your accounting. If you see in this scenario, first is nothing but my company. This is my company. Company is nothing but, let's say, for example, this is my. I'll take one example. Let's say XYZ Traders. Let's say XYZ Traders is the company. The first one is XYZ Traders. Now, in general, this XYZ Traders is in multiple regions. Let's say it is in multiple regions. Probably they are in Dubai, then India, and Europe. This is a region. Okay. Then they have departments. They have sales, HR, IT, admin, operations, and let's say manufacturing department or probably accounting department. These are all different bits. Okay? This is called as departments. Departments. Okay. Then category or like this line of business. In line of business, probably they are into electronics or they are into, let's say, service industry, which is nothing but, let's say, cat hospitality. Okay. Then they also sell, what is electronics they buy and sell, and they also have an hospitality industry where they actually, it's a service oriented in the industry where they actually go to the companies, fix all those services for computer hardware services. Okay, that is something I can say. Then they also have, let's say, consulting, which means they implement the softwares. Okay, and what else you got? Mobiles. Let's assume these are the line of businesses. Okay, these are line of business. I'm just giving an example. Okay, it's a line of business or products or services. Okay, then they get account. What is account? In this scenario, if you see, right, we have a sales team, you have an amount. Okay, now I'll put one more category here. I'll do one more segregation. I'll just put what does it will tell me that 100 Probably this is for operational expense. 200, which is nothing but company meet. 300, which is nothing but sales. Clear? Now, rather than writing manually, right? So in general, what I'll put like this reason. If you think like this reason, which is nothing but I can have all these reasons. Operational expenses, company, and cash. This is rather than writing like this. What I want to put everything like this using some code. Using some code. This number, right? 100, 200, 300, they will actually denote what is the number. Like this. Okay. Okay. This is my account number. This is my account description. You can call it as 100, 200, 300. What we are trying to do here is, your company has got a lot of transactions. You got the inflow of cash and outflow, of the cash. Now, whenever the money moves, or whenever you do something in terms of transactions, it can be currency, it can be products and services. You make a lot of transactions. That transaction you want to identify, you want to track it. Rather than writing like this, like description, what you want to do, you want to create a numbers and determine represent those numbers, and you want to tell the system that what is that you did. That is what you do. Okay, so in terms of here, I'll put one more something. I have one more segment called as account. Clear? Tomorrow, when the company runs a report, they don't run using this. They won't run using this. Okay, that depends upon the software, how you have implemented. Okay, this is how you have one more segment. Then anything like you want to add miscellaneous, you can do others, or I can say put others. Now, what are all these? These are the fields, and this is the description. And if the company wants to run, they'll run the report. Let's say, for example, now after 6 months, probably, if the company wants to know how much sales that I made in a specific business, probably want to run for electronics. What they'll do, they'll just run a report using this company region. Let's say they want to run sales report for Dubai. Let's say, for example, they'll select XYZ, and then they'll select sales, and they select, let's say, for example, electronics, and then they'll select account. Right, account is nothing but cash flow, which is nothing but 300. When they run a report, system will tell them. So what is this? What is the business information? Okay, how much they made the sales for this electronics? So I'll put electronics here. Electronics. When they run the business, when they run this report, system will give them a complete view of their sales for electronics, for sales, and that too in Dubai for the company. This all structure is nothing but your ledger, part of a ledger, and this is called as your charting accounts. These are nothing but your segments in Oracle. Is it clear? So what is chart of accounts? Chart of accounts is part of your ledger. Chart of accounts is part of your ledger, which will determine how you're going to have your accounting. How many segments you are going to have. how you want to track it, how you want to trace it, how do you want to identify a transaction in the system. That is how they do. Is this clear?
Yeah, Brahma.
Okay. Next one is your currency. Currency is nothing but in which how many companies, sorry, in how many locations you are operating. Probably in case if you are in Dubai, you have a different currency. If it is Europe, it is a different currency. India, it is a different currency. US, it is different. In case if a company is having businesses or operations in different countries, then what you'll do, you'll define the currency in the system and you enable it and you use that in your transactions. That is what it is. Next is nothing but your accounting calendar. Ideally, what it does, this will tell you in each region, right? They have different currencies. Sorry, calendars. Okay, so some companies, they start from January. Some companies they start from April. Some companies they start based on the financial year of the country. So that depends upon this companies to companies. Okay, and what they do whenever they make a transition. Let's say, for example, this is let's say September. We are in September. Okay, they make some transactions in August. Okay. And when they do the transactions in August, what they do, they'll make sure that in August itself, everything is closed. Whatever they want to receive in sales, they will receive it. Whatever they want to send payments to the suppliers, they'll do that one. Payments, salaries, expenses, everything they want to close in August itself. Clear? Then they will make sure that that period they close it. So that they don't want to do any transaction in August. Then they'll have a new month, September, then again they'll have a transaction. Clear? This is how it works in accounting. Clear?
Yes, Brahma.
Okay. Now this depends how many ledgers you want, how many chart of accounts you want. That all depends upon the business, how they are operating, in which locations they are operating, and where they what are the line of businesses. Okay, you can have one or it can be have multiple ledgers. Okay. Now next one is legal entities. Okay, this is done. Now you have something called as legal entities. What is legal entity? Legal entities ideally represents, a unit which actually helps you to, define your reports for taxation purpose. Okay. Now this depends upon the company where you're operating. Probably in US they have got their own compliances, they got their own taxes. Okay, and they've got own rules, government rules. Okay. If it is in India, they have got their own, government has got their own rules for taxes, right? Now, legal entity have right to trade, right to own the property, responsibility, how you want to make the debt, repay that debt. Okay. It is ideally, responsible to account for themselves to, taxation and other departments, typically. Okay. This is how that's the legal entity test. Okay. How many legal entities you can have in a company or probably in the system? That depends upon the region, that depends upon the business. And you know, in case if you have multiple business and if you don't want to have impact on the financials or the company, then you can have multiple business. Okay, so usually that depends upon the nature of the business. So you can have different legal entities in different divisions if required also. This is majorly a part of financial setups. Okay, any questions?
No, Brahma.
Great. Now next is a business unit. Next is a business unit. This is from here you have the transactions. Basically, all your transactions are maintained at this level. It can be a purchase order, or it can be a sales order, or it can be invoices. You can say, okay. This business unit represents an enterprise that performs one or more business functions. Okay, it represents what is that you're performing in terms of transaction in system. Okay, probably your company is into sales. They create sales products, or you buy products or services from a supplier. Okay, you raise a purchase order for them that are maintained at this store. Or probably you want to make some payment to the supplier. Okay, you got AP invoices, or you want to receive some memo. Invoices. Okay. Now, what are all these? All these are called as business functions. Business function, or probably your company is into manufacturing, or probably your company is into sales and inventory management, which is nothing but distribution. Whatever your company does, this is actually maintained, and it will tell you what are all your companies operating in terms of transactions. Okay, I'll give an example. I'll not go in detail. Let's say, for example, if you see you've created a business unit. Okay, business unit. Okay, I'll have, let's say this is XYZ is my traders company. Right? So I'll have North India, South India, Central India. My company is in three different. My company is operating in India, in all the states. Okay, now I got North India, South India, Central India. Now, South India is only responsible for creating request, which means they'll say, hey, we need products, we need services. That's it. That is their job. They'll only request for products, which means they need products. Only request for and services. They're so there are like employees in this region, South India, and they are only responsible for requesting products. They, let's say for example, they need laptops, or they need machinery, or probably they need some sort of services for the company. That is what they just request. And what North India will do, North India talks to suppliers, negotiate with supplier, and get or source right suppliers to get products, services. This is nothing but probably they'll do all the buying process. Clear? South India is responsible for expressing the material, but whereas North India, they are the actual department people who talks to suppliers, negotiate with the suppliers to get the right products at the right time with the right quality. Okay, that's what they do, and they're responsible for buying process. Whereas central India, which is nothing but Mumbai, you can say this is, let's say, Mumbai. This is Mumbai head office. This is Chennai. Probably this is, let's say, Delhi. Just give an example. Okay? This Mumbai head office, they can raise payments. They will process all the invoices for suppliers. And there is, sometimes they can also request. Sometimes they can also buy products on behalf of other departments. They have access to everything, all full access probably. They have only this position access. You call purchasing access. Now, if you see, right, if you have a company, that company has multiple business units, you can decide what that company, what that business unit can do. In this scenario, if I'm taking North India, South India, Central India as three different departments, what I'm trying to tell is each business unit, you can segregate what they can perform or operate, and what are the roles and responsibilities, or what is the limitations of their operations. Is this clear? This is something done at the business unit level, which means in system, South India, when they, if you give access to, let's say for example, you have Pramod here. If Pramod is given South India access, he can only request. He cannot buy the product, he cannot create invoices. That's it. If he has access to North India, he can only purchase. He cannot create invoices. But if he has Central India access, he can create everything. He can request, he can buy, can invoice. Everything he can do. Because he has access to this business unit. Hmm? And you can also decide how one or more business functions to business unit. It's not that one business unit can perform only one operation. It's not like that. When we actually get into the system, I'll tell you how to enable the options, which helps the company's business units to perform the transactions. So it can be one or it can be many business functions. It can do. Is this clear?
Yeah, Pramod.
In EBS world, this is called as operating unit. Okay. But in EBS, you don't have that option where you cannot segregate an operating unit saying that this is only for requisitions, this is only for our purchase order. That options are not available at the operating unit in EBS. Okay. But you can give access. Basically, if you want to create purchasing, basically you create purchasing options that will denote that this operating unit is you can use for purchase orders or for a financial purpose. But at the operating unit, you don't have the top features. Okay. So let's park EBS for a while. So business unit, this will denote what is the operation that you perform. It can be one or many. Is this clear?
Yes.
Now, what is the advantages of what a business unit can do? This will help you to perform the reporting, first thing. Then process transactions. Then secure data, which is nothing but transactional data. Okay. Then reference data definitions or data sharing. You can say. Clear? What the business unit can do, it can help you to run the reporting, or it can help you to process the transactions, and it also secures the database and the transaction data, and it also helps the sharing of data. Okay. So as I said, right, you can have multiple business unit functions, and that will tell you what is the business unit and what is the operations that the business unit can perform. Okay. So I said, right, so you can have a requisition business unit or purchase procurement business unit. Based on that classification, it will allow you to perform the transactions in the system. Okay. Any questions?
So I promote Siddharth this side. Good morning.
What is it?
Hello. Siddharth this side promote. Can you hear me?
I didn't
Pramod,
get your
can you hear
questions.
me?
Yeah, I
Pramod,
can
can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Pramod, tell me one thing. Here that the secure transactional data, who will maintain this?
This is part of your administrative task. Let's say, for example, if you see any ERP products, right? In ERP systems, what you have a person who is going to use system, who uses systems.
Yeah.
This can be, day-to-day person, probably, operational team. Okay. People working in warehouse, people working in the procurement department, people working in sales team or admin team. Let's I'll put like this: sales team, procurement team, and warehouse. Now you have something called as admin or IT team. Okay, they are the ones
Okay.
who controls who will give access. They maintain all these informations. Who can get access? Who can get access to which screens? And what are based on the role. Let's say, for example, if you are the warehouse operator, probably or warehouse manager, you'll be given access to only warehouse role. If you're into procurement, probably your role is buying and selling products. Probably, so you're responsible for talking to suppliers, buying the products, negotiating. Then you'll be given access to maybe buyer role. Correct. So this is actually, these roles are already predefined in the system, but if you want to create some custom, they can do that. But in terms of giving access, this is done by admin role, admin team. They have the full access. They can assign roles, or they can revoke roles, which means they can remove roles. Let's say, for example, in case if you have multiple locations, multiple warehouses, probably, your company is operating in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, or Kolkata. They have all these warehouses, let's say, for example. But you are working in, let's say, Delhi, which means you'll be given access to Siddharth, you'll be given access to only Delhi warehouse. But if you are a manager, and probably you are in charge of North India, which means you'll have access to Delhi, Mumbai. Or probably you are the supply chain head of a company, then you'll have access to warehouse, everything. Clear? Depends on.
Yes, Pramod, but my question was, see, that the secure transactional data. So what I can understand with this, like, how to secure that the data. Here, what we are talking about is a person is from Delhi, so he should assign that role related to Delhi area, right? But
Correct.
if his manager is working, so he should have that access for the Delhi and Mumbai.
Correct.
So
That
he will let. So this is not the security of transactional data, right? This is that the something what we are assigning to someone.
Correct. So which means, see, there are two kinds of data. One is master data, the other one is transaction data. Master data is, you can say, it's items, probably categories, suppliers, and customers. Okay. And there's something called a setup data. Okay. Which means, let's say, for example, I'll talk about some payment terms. Payment terms. Probably in system, you have got 30 days, 60 days, okay, then 90 days, or immediate, or something you've created as customer set. Now, these are all the values that you've created in system. Now, in case if you want to restrict who can see what information, you can also do that in cloud, which means probably I'll create something called as this payment terms I've created as everyone. Anyone can use. Anyone can use. Anyone can use. Anyone can use. But there is one payment term called as Middle East. Also Dubai payment. This is only for Middle East probably. Now I can restrict what values I can see based on this. And this I can assign to the business units. Then system will see only those payment terms that are assigned. This is called as securing the data. So the transactional data is different. What is a transactional data? Let's say, for example, here you have moved material, inventory transactions, which means I'm adjusting my inventory, or I'm creating my purchase order, or I'm creating an invoice. Who can see that information? That is called as a transactional data. That data you can restrict based on the access that you provide to the organizations or the company. If you're a supervisor, probably you want to see everything. If it is just an operator, probably you want to see a limited transactional data or limited information in the system. That all are part of your role and responsibility, and the access that a person or individual is being provided. Is this clear?
Yes, Pramod, and I would like to request one more thing. Is it
Yeah.
possible, like, is there any flow diagram, like how the data is flowing,
Yeah, I'm going to show you
from
that when we actually create the transitions tomorrow. Today, I just want to give you the theory or the concept, how this enterprise structure in Oracle Cloud works. But tomorrow, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to show in the system step by step how you're going to create these things.
Yes,
Is
it
clear?
would be very helpful.
No, that is how we will do. But at least in terms of concept, right? In case if you know the
Concept
concept,
wise, right?
Yeah, if you know the concept, if you understand the concept, when you look the image, probably you'll understand. If you don't understand the concept, right? The flow will not even help you.
Right.
Okay. Any questions
Right.
here?
No. Thanks, Pramod.
Yeah. Okay. So again, probably the role and responsibilities may vary. Okay, in the system and physically. Physically, let's say for example, if you're working in a company and you're really probably your role is, let's say, warehouse manager. Okay, and you manage all the inventory. You manage the inventory. Okay, and you do the counting, inventory counting also you perform. Okay, inventory adjustments you do, and you also do the shipments. Okay, you have full access. You have full access, but sometimes you also have access to sales orders. Now, this is something what you do as part of your day-to-day life. But this is in real world. This is what you do. But this is in system. In system, again, there is something called as compliance process. What is compliance process? What is that you're doing, and it is in compliance with the companies or company standards or not, company region region specific is it meeting the complaints or not? That's what you'll have, because sometimes they have this process in place where if you're a warehouse manager, you should not have access to any other screens apart from warehouse. Probably you should not have access to sales, you should not have access to procurement, or you should not have access to invoices, which is compliance issues, right? So in system, whatever you're doing physically, right, that should be aligned, which means here in system, you should have a role and access to warehouses. Then only you can perform all these things. Role is nothing but your warehouse manager. Access is nothing but these are all the things what you can do. And for to which are warehouse. These are all part of your access in the system. So in system, it is called as roles. Every role will have something called as privileges. That privileges will tell you what you can do. Let's say warehouse manager is my role, which will tell you that you have full access to perform everything in a warehouse. All this you can do. But if you are a warehouse operator, probably you have only access to inventory movement, which means you are not responsible for anything. Inventory move or receive, create receipts from suppliers. That's it. You don't have anything else. No counting, nothing else. No shipments. Probably if you are a buyer, which means you will have access to only creating purchase orders, and or probably you'll have access to suppliers. Nothing else. You don't have access to roles. Sorry, warehouse. Okay. Now, based on the role and responsibility that you're playing in the organization, you'll be given certain access. Based on the roles, that roles have a privilege that will tell you what you can do in the system. What you can do in the system, and then something called as data access. What data access will tell you which entities you have access. Which entities you have access, which means which warehouses, which businesses you'll have access. Clear? Let's say, for example, I'll give a real time example. Okay, let's say, for example, you're working in a company and you are a IT. You're working in a company called, you're working in an IT department, and your company has got 4 server rooms, and you are a IT representative. Okay, you join it. Okay, now you have access to only one server room. There is one more senior IT person. He has got access to 3. You have IT manager. He has got access to all servers. This is called as data access in Oracle, which means you are going to limit the access based on the role and based on the person. Clear? But everyone belongs to same IT department, but still based on the role that the company, the employee is playing in the organization, they will be given access to a specific, location, so that they can only operate in that location, or they have access to only the particular servers. Is this clear? Though you are playing a role in the IT departments, but depends upon the nature of your role, nature of the operations, what you perform, you will be given access. Is this clear? This is called as data access in Oracle, which means you will tell which warehouses, which business units, or what you want to access. Clear?
Yeah, Pramod.
Okay, this is how it works. Okay, any questions here?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to start configuration, and we also have one more thing I want to explain, which is nothing but inventory, item organizations, inventory organizations, and sub inventories. I'm going to talk about these three, and then we'll get into the configurations. Clear? Try to understand the concept of enterprise structure in Oracle. Then we'll get into the application and then we'll create it. Okay?
Sure, Pramod.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Siddharth. Thanks, Manoj.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thanks.